Hi friends, and welcome to our first stamping presentation for tonight. So this one here, I'm focusing on a Hostess stamp set that is brand new out of the catalog. Now we have quite a bunch of new stamp sets that are in the Hostess plan. You're going to find them starting on page 201 out of your book. And this one here is my absolute favorite. It is called Simply Sketched, and it has these three beautiful sketchy looking images that are gorgeous to color in, and three really nice greetings. So it's a stamp set that's going to go a long way. And for this one, I'm going to use the flower, and I'm going to show you how to do this watercoloring technique. So I've already pre-done some of the card for you. I'm going to put up the dimensions of the card right above here, so make sure to check them out if you want to recreate that. If you can see on the background, I actually used one of our new embossing folders called Modern Mosaic, and it has this beautiful, beautiful mosaic texture on it. And I just love how that turns out. It's probably my favorite new embossing folder out of the book. So we do have 4 of them though, so make sure to check those out on page 191. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to use our Versamark ink pad, which is what you want to use when you're heat embossing. And you're going to ink that up really well. Now here's a tip. Before you heat emboss, especially with this black embossing powder, it is really staticky, and that powder goes everywhere if you don't do this step. So use an embossing buddy. Now this embossing buddy is literally your friend for heat embossing, because without it, you're going to get specks everywhere. So get that nice and covered up. And then we're going to stamp it, hold it on there for a few seconds, and back up. We're going to take our black embossing powder and just dump that right on top. Make a nice mess of my background paper here, and tap it off. Now you're going to see that my powder is exactly where I want it to be. So I'm going to heat emboss that, and I'll be right back. Now that I've heat embossed my image, it is this beautiful dark black shiny raised image. I hope you can see that on the camera because it just looks beautiful in real life. So I'm going to take my Calypso Coral and my Pear Pizzazz ink pads, and what you want to do is press your lid into its bottom, and that's going to give you a palette of color that you can use to watercolor with. And the fun part about watercoloring is you do not have to be an expert artist. It's going to look really pretty. I'm going to use my aqua painter, and you just want a little bit of color on that in the barrel. And sometimes I just take some of it off with my fingers a little bit because I don't want it too wet. So I'm going to start out with my Pear Pizzazz. I want actually a little bit more water there. Hold on. All right. And color directly onto my cardstock. Now it does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be in the lines. You are going to look like an artist no matter how much time you use. Now you don't want to be too messy, but a little bit of mess is actually not too bad on this kind of technique. So now the next step is I'm going to take that color off of my scrap paper, pick up some of that Calypso Coral, and I do that in 2 parts. So the first part is I just want to do kind of a light coloring of the whole thing, and then the next step is you want to do a little bit darker in some of the areas, and it just adds a bit of highlight. Now I have a little bit too much water on there. If you find that that is the case for you, you can actually either take it off on your fingers like I just did, or get a paper towel and just work at it. So just add some darker color, and it's going to start to look like 2 different tones of the same, and it just adds really beautiful dimension to that image. So you're going to want to let that dry. So when it dries, it's going to look like that. Now the next step is I've already put together my card, so I'm just going to adhere that on with my snail adhesive. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back like that and just stick it on my card. Now I've already cut out a piece of Calypso Coral and heat embossed it with the greeting. So what I want to do is I want to take my mat and my paper piercer and add a hole on the right hand side. I want it to be fairly big. And I'm going to use some of these sparkly glimmer brads, and these are basic colors, and they have the gray, the gold, the silver, 2 different tones of gray actually, and the black. So I'm going to use the black. I find that the backings of these often stick together, so I just kind of bring it down all at once. You can see I tried my greeting on the back there too. Good thing cardstock has 2 sides. And I want to add a bit of a fishtail, so you can use either your paper snips to do this, or you can actually use a square punch, and it just adds that fishtail. I love dimensionals, and I think every card needs some dimensionals, so I'm going to use 3 of them on this particular little banner. One on the side, the middle, and then the end, like that. And then this just gives a height to your card, so you can actually put it on there. Oh, I didn't take my backings off. You want to do that first. And then I just kind of pucker it like that, and then bring up my little tails, and there you go. There is a quick and easy watercolored card using one of our Hostess sets. If you want to earn one of these Hostess sets for free, I have 3 different types of parties that I can do. I can do a live party where I either come to you or you come to my stamping workshop and we'll put together something. We can do a Hostess party online like we're doing right now on Facebook, or you can just collect orders. Now, one of the good things that Stampin' Up! Has right now is we have Hostess codes, which means that if you host an online party, all the orders can be shipped directly to your friends, even if they don't live close to you. So that's a great way to do something without the fuss. And I am happy to help you in any way earn some free stamp sets. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you on the next video.